Hello, my name is David Miller and I'm a silver wellness advocate with doTerra Essential Oils, the leading essential oils company in the world. Very recently we attended their global convention in Utah, and it was just fantastic to see the company's goals and aims and their aspirations to pursue what's pure. Two particular presentations stood out to me in relation to their Copaiba Essential Oil, which is amazing, and also how it compared to CBD oil, which has become very popular over the last few years. And I put this presentation together to help with increased education and understanding. Let's start then firstly with the endocannabinoid system, appreciating what it is and what it does. It's not singular in its outcome or singular in the things that it provides throughout the entire body, and it's not isolated to any one system or component in the body. And this is significant for a number of different reasons. The endocannabinoid system enables us to normalize a lot of body systems and body functions. We need to have control of inflammatory responses, because if we don't have the strength and resilience that we need, it can lead to many difficult health situations. The endocannabinoid system is part of the body's defense system, so it's important that we have good, proper stimulation of it throughout the body. The endocannabinoid system creates a status of homeostasis within the body, which is how our bodies interpret information, like the experiences we have. We might be mood, appetite, energy, fight or flight, hormones. And the endocannabinoid system has an effect and influence within this, so it's critical that we learn how we can best support that system. There's been lots of interest growing about CBD, and some people who might listen to this might have that enthusiasm, and it's a very big market. doTerra as a company are not opposed to the idea and the concept, but they do have some challenges that remain for them, so at this moment in time they will not be providing it. One main reason is actually that there isn't any consistency with CBD, and doTerra are not prepared to invest in that consistency, as it could possibly compromise with their CPTG standards. CPTG meaning Certified Pure Therapeutic Grade, the top standard of essential oils in the world. It also has regulatory challenges, so then there's a need to protect the company and its reputation. And actually, they're not really concerned about what everybody else is doing. They're prepared to do something different by design, and they do it by choice. Well, Copaiba Essential Oil isn't just another essential oil. It's 4 very individual species of the Copaiba tree, blended them together, providing not only uniqueness, which is a complete differential between any other company that might offer Copaiba, and it allows us to have many different outcomes. Copaiba Essential Oil has near 100% sesquiterpenes that provide great complexity that comes from the chemistry and how that chemistry interacts and responds within the body. The more complex the chemistry, generally speaking, the more broad the scope can be for the value and benefit we receive. And in other cases, the more complex, then the more specific and the more focused we can be as well. It has a higher metabolic potential, or the higher metabolic potential it has, the outcomes and benefits of this oil mean an expectation that is very high, partly because of interaction with the CBD system, but partly because of the many other pathways that occur due to the diversity of the chemistry. High sesquiterpenes mean we get longer lasting benefits, not just primary, but secondary and beyond. And doTerra are doing these things over and above anything else you ever see in the marketplace. With Copaiba we have a complete oil profile, like other essential oils. whereas CBD is an isolated molecule that is put into a carrier oil, which is completely different. Essential oils behave differently to any other form of botanical or any other form of medicine that we may be expected to. With Copaiba we have direct receptor activation, and doTerra strive constantly to understand the mystery of essential oils, where and how they work, the pathways that they follow, and are discovering things that no one has ever seen before. There's been actually over 1,000 studies on Copaiba, and it's been shown that small amounts of the oil can create long-lasting, sustained benefits. 1 to 3 drops seem to be sufficient to activate the ECB system and interaction with the receptors and produce multiple outcomes. The endocannabinoid system was actually discovered in the 1960s. Since then there's been great excitement about molecules and substances that could interact with it and activate it and produce physiological responses within the body. The two most studied are beta-caryophyllene from Copaiba and CBD. But Copaiba does some things that CBD cannot. However, because they work within that same system, people would naturally want to compare them. It's not really a fair comparison, because Copaiba is the essential oil that is extracted from the Copaiba resin, whereas CBD is a plant extract that comes from the cannabis plant, which is often mixed with a carrier oil like olive oil. They're both valuable tools and have a place in your wellness toolkit, but Copaiba has advantages and benefits that may not be achieved by CBD. On a wider scale, the FDA is still currently evaluating CBD's place and determining its long-term effects when used cumulatively, as well as its effect on specialist groups of population like children, elderly, women who are pregnant and nursing, and there's still a lot more to discover about that. The endocannabinoid system is made up of enzymes, receptors, molecules that help us to maintain homeostasis, as mentioned earlier. It stabilizes the body for greater periods of homeostasis. Two CB receptors then, CB1 in the central nervous system like the brain, the spinal cord, but also in other areas such as the eyes and the blood vessels. CB2 is predominantly within the immune system and immune-related organs such as the spleen and the tonsils. It's also found in major organs such as the heart, liver and lungs, so it can widely influence our body as well. There are molecules that can interact within this system. Endocannabinoids are naturally produced by the body, and they're meant to act with these receptors, as we just discussed. Also, phytocannabinoids found within and produced by the plants, so these are in the plant kingdom. Cannabis has cannabinoids within it, but it's not the only plant that has cannabinoids, such as liverwort, black truffles, and even the cacao plant. And then there are plants that carry beta-caryophyllene within them, like melissa and black pepper, and Copaiba, which has the highest percentage of beta-caryophyllene between it. There are synthetics as well, cannabinoids. These are produced by scientists in a laboratory, and they were originally produced to better understand the endocannabinoid system, because they have a strong ability to bind to CB1 and CB2 receptors to better study the structure and function and activity and location of these receptors. The last part of this system are the enzymes which help us maintain optimum levels of these endocannabinoids, which the body naturally produces. They create endocannabinoids from fatty acids within the body, and if we have higher levels than needed, then it'll simply degrade them back to fatty acids so that they can be used elsewhere. Here's some Copaiba advantages then. Copaiba has direct activity on the CB2 receptors. Beta-caryophyllene selectively and directly binds to and activates the CB2 receptors within the body, so you get more rapid cellular effects because of it. On the contrary, if you look at CBD, it really doesn't have a good ability to bind to either CB1 or CB2 receptors, so it doesn't have that direct activity. It has an indirect activity, and you can anticipate slower cellular effects within the body. Price is another thing. It's a huge factor, because in the open market you can buy CBD and it is thousands of pounds per kilogram for it, so it can make it very expensive to get any kind of beneficial dose, whereas the contrary, Copaiba is very affordable and costs less for similar beneficial usage. And then we'll look at purity, doTerra's absolute standout unique selling point. Now, a study published in the Journal of American Medical Associations, that's JAMA, in 2017, actually tested multiple CBD products available on the market. They actually found that 69% of products on the market did not have the concentration of CBD on the bottle that was on the label. Even more alarming, the same study found that multiples of these products had higher levels of THC, which is the component that affects the CB1 receptors, some of which are actually high enough that they could produce a mind-altering effect in certain individuals. So there's a purity issue that we have to consider as well. What about safety? It has been investigated in clinical trials, and what we've found is that people receiving it in the clinical doses used are experiencing elevated liver enzymes, meaning a potential harm to the liver by taking that CBD. Whereas beta-caryophyllene is generally considered safe, non-toxic, tolerable, and there's a very high safety margin. We'll come back to that legality issue. As around the world there are different laws and levels of tolerance, and in the US, for example, you have some states that have more stringent and strict regulations even than federal law, meaning that there's a conflict. And the FDA has not created a regulatory path for CBD to be sold on the open market. Complexity. It was highlighted earlier why complexity is so relevant, and other advantages for Copaiba. When a Copaiba oil is extracted from the resin, there's generally 100 compounds within that oil, almost all of which is sesquiterpenes. As a comparison, if you extract CBD from the cannabis plants, there are approximately 32 compounds, but they are almost all entirely CBD, with only trace amounts of the other 31 compounds in it. Greater complexity means an ability to have more diverse and complex effect on our wellness with Copaiba. In terms of the pathway, Copaiba and beta-caryophyllene do not work exclusively within the endocannabinoid system. We know that it works on multiple pathways, genes, cell receptors and proteins within the body to affect our overall well-being. So there's more rounded and expansive benefits. Now, doTerra aren't saying that CBD is not a tool or a good thing for us to have available. However, it's not used without some limitations. The indirect activity of CBD means you can expect slower cellular responses. In fact, because it does not bind very well to either one of the receptors within the system, it tends to act more as a helper molecule that signals the endocannabinoid system to work more efficiently, and in some cases to modulate our responses to other molecules that do not directly bind to that. It all leads to indirect, slow responses and activity. Another limiting factor is that in humans, when they ingest CBD, we tend to absorb only 6% of what we ingest. So put that in perspective, if you were to take 100 milligrams of CBD, you actually excrete 94 milligrams of that CBD, and you're only actually absorbing 6% or 6 milligrams there into your bloodstream. That's a lot of waste. The CB2 receptors have become a major target to regulate immune and inflammatory responses for the body because they are located abundantly in our immune system. But that doesn't limit the effect there, because these CB2 receptors are also located within our digestive tract and in our major organs of the body, in the bones and in the muscles. And when we have a substance like beta-caryophyllene that can directly activate these, then it helps to regulate and promote healthy brain, muscular, skeletal, cardiovascular, digestive and overall cellular functions within the body. Pathways, genes, receptors and proteins that we know BCB works on outside of the endocannabinoid system, those that are involved in our overall cellular health, those that help regulate our inflammatory response, we actually need information in our body, otherwise we'd be dead. Because we have to have inflammation for our immune system to work properly, for all-round wound healing to occur properly. So we want a little bit of inflammation. We just don't want to maintain that healthy range. We just want to maintain that healthy range and a healthy inflammatory response. We can promote healthy organ function, body comfort, support memory function and cognitive function. Pathways for lipid regulation influences cellular antioxidant defenses. It activates one of our major intracellular antioxidant defenses called NRF2 that helps protect us against cellular damage by free radicals, and it is also involved in the longevity of our cells. Anybody want longevity of cells? It improves all body functions because proteins are a major component of our cells. As you can see there as well, Copaiba has 45 to 80% beta-caryophyllene. If you were looking at CBD, you're typically looking at 5, 10, 15, 20%. Let's have a look at some of the benefits of Copaiba and beta-caryophyllene then. It supports a healthy inflammatory response. You can take it orally. It aids cardiovascular, immune, digestive, brain and respiratory systems. It's got the ability to reduce worrisome thoughts. It supports healthy female reproductive function. It can improve the appearance of the skin. And it helps restore stressed skin. It also improves absorption and efficiency of other lipophilic molecules, like other essential oils, so it can be used to enhance the benefits and the effects of other essential oils if taken with it. And it creates a calm and relaxing environment. So Copaiba, when it's used daily on a regular basis, helps you live a longer and healthier life with greater periods of homeostasis. Now, if you purchased a bottle of doTerra Copaiba Essential Oil, you are absolutely guaranteed CBD quality and consistency. However, there isn't such a standard for CBD oil. So this is a company, this is an organisation linked to the Roseman University who've done some tests. And if they did a test looking to see what people would buy on the open market on places like Amazon, just to see what potential was out there and what people were buying, it's very confusing. They actually purchased 6 separate CBD oils from 6 different vendors and they tested them. However, only one CBD oil passed this test and exhibited strong biological activities. The other 5 simply failed the test and had no or extremely low biological activities. So they actually called the companies to learn how they produce their oils, and only one company showed unadulterated CBD oils that they collected immediately after the CO2 extraction. The other 5 simply showed that they added carrier oils and CBD isolate. which has much less effect. In terms of resources then, if you were looking for how you could put this into practice and things that could help, here are some resources here that you can find by just typing in that web page there, and you can download some of the research articles. You can find out particular specialist areas and everything like that, and you're very welcome to do that. But I do thank you for your time, and I hope that this presentation encourages you to look further at how Copaiba Essential Oil, doTerra Copaiba Essential Oil, can assist and support you in your life. Thank you.